Okay, our next one is a Rebus mystery. My suggestion for you on this one would be to find a person that would be famous, infamous, etc. It could be a business even that you could have a mystery question about. So again, I'm doing web design, and in a web design class, we don't really talk about a whole lot of people. I could do something like someone who created a certain web browser or something like that. But I wanted to go into accessibility on web pages. That's like a big deal. And lawsuits about web browsers. So I typed in Copilot, are there any notable lawsuits over web browsers? And it said, yeah, there are. United States versus Microsoft, DOJ versus Google Chrome, and then some web accessibility, Rebus versus Domino Pizza. And I thought, that sounds interesting. So I said, what happened with Domino's? And it said this was an accessibility lawsuit that was a landmark case. I thought that sounded important. And the plaintiff was Guillermo Robles, a blind man who sued Domino's after being unable to order food via their website and mobile app using screen reading software, and that the platforms were violating Title III of the ADA. And I thought, okay, wow, this sounds good. So what I'm going to use for mine is I'm going to put at the top of my puzzle this blind man ... and then because you don't want to make this super long, trust. Sued Domino's Pizza over their website, violating ADA. That's going to be what I'm going to use in my Rebus puzzle. And then the answer for this one is going to be this guy's name for my puzzle. Okay, so let's go to the Rebus maker. And let me take the last part of this, the sued Domino's Pizza part. So I'm just going to copy this and go to Rebus. So again, part of your problem is just figuring out like what do I want this one to be about. Otherwise, this is another really easy one. Now let me first explain to you how a Rebus works. Your students will probably need a hint on this one. You might want to be kind enough to leave the little key. So there's this thing down here that says show hints. You might want to leave them because sometimes the kids can't tell. Like this is a store. They might think it's a business or a box or I don't know. If it's not printed in color, it might be really hard to tell. So if you feel so kind, you could leave the little words on there. Okay. So at the bottom here, I'm going to paste sued Domino's Pizza over their website violating ADA. Okay. So I'm going to put that in here. And, well, hold on. I'm going to hit enter. We'll see if it'll go. I don't know why it's all being slow. There we go. All right. And so this is what a Rebus puzzle looks like. So it's like a bunch of symbols. So for instance, you can see here is a sun and N equals E. So that means instead of the N in sun, we're going to change it to an E. And then we're going to add a D. And that's how this is going to make the word sued. Okay, so when you see an equals, it's a replacement. So like the word dog, but replace the G with an M. That's dom, plus an I, plus nose minus the E. And that gives us dominoes. And the pizza's its own thing. Love, like love's going to be kind of hard for them to figure out that that's what that means, probably. Minus L plus R. Okay, so again, depending on how hard your words are, you might want to leave the hints. If you don't want to leave the hints, I would recommend for you that you snip this right here for yourself so you have it to give hints and put it into your answer key document. So I've deleted the previous stuff in here. I'm going to put my one with the hints for me in case I have to give a hint to the kids. Okay, and then once you're happy with it, again, if you want to take the hints off, take them off. And then I usually hit print and I take the screenshot from here because it goes further across. I just hit cancel on that. Now you can make your screen, smaller. So it's however much room you want it to be on here. And then again, take your snipping tool, grab a hold of it, and then copy paste. And do look through these. Like occasionally there'll be one that's inappropriate. I mean, not very often, but okay. Now I need to remember what my words are at the beginning. My preface words are this blind man. Okay. So this blind man, ... And then I'm going to paste that in. There it is, and I can make it a little bit bigger. Now I would recommend having some scrap paper for your students, so as they're doing your puzzles, they've got scrap paper in case they need to figure that out. And then again, you need to figure out how many letters you need here. R-O-B-L-E-S. I have exactly the right number of letters. How fabulous is that? Now on the bottom, I put example, how this works. So the kids can kind of see, that this means McDonald's Happy Meal. And some of them can kind of figure it out. So you might leave that on there. Or if you realize they're having a lot of trouble on this one, like stop and explain this bottom part, like partway through the time period that you give them to complete your puzzles. But anyway, that's it. The Rebus mystery, again, not real complicated, just trying to figure out different things that you can include that they're solving these mysteries for is the main thing.